My name is Sylvia Nyako. I'm the programs lead at the University of Ghana Business School, Innovation and Incubation Hub. Now, usually universities are known to do research and academic stuff, but our units or departments allow us to move away from theory to practice, where research and innovation is incubated to the level where it's business ready and investment ready. So this afternoon, I'm just here to tell you what we do, what our student, faculty, and the whole university body is doing, and what we are doing with the communities as well. We run a lot of programs, but today I'm just going to zoom into the project that is going to be interesting to invest in, right? So that you can also see what community and university is doing together and how we can best come in if you are ready to invest. So we have businesses that have incubated from food, climate change across to IT security. But these projects, it's made on agri-food and nutrition startups. So the first project I want to talk about is Riser. Riser is like, the name is BRINC for short, BRINC. That is bridging the research industry, bridging the research innovation industry assimilation gap through technology capacity building in rural Ghana. It's a bit long, but the short form is BRINC. And what this project was seeking to do is that we're going to move away from the university borders where we are only researching and we just put it on the shelf and nobody gets to hear it, because as from the university, we like to write abstract and article that nobody will ever read. I mean, an average person will pick it up and they don't even understand, because we are so bent on methodologies and blah, 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 theories that, so what, basically? So this project allows us to communicate in a very form that the people that in their community can understand and adopt the innovation and use it to improve upon their businesses or whatever they're doing. So we visited about 7 communities across the country, north, south, eastern, and all that. I don't want to mention the names because some of us probably will not know, but what we are doing is we just move the innovations from the lab, from the university to these local communities. So we went to Kede. Kede is known to be the palm oil hub of Ghana. So if you know red, have anybody eaten red? Fantastic. The red oil, it's probably from Kede. Now, the problem that Kede was facing some years ago, they were adding Sudan 4 to the oil, which is harmful to the health. And the issue or the problem that they were trying to address was the oil was coagulating at a point. So in order to maintain the redness, they are adding Sudan 4 to give it a little bit of color, because palm oil is not palm oil if it's not red and bright. What our research did, or what the university did, was to go to that place, train them on how to reduce the moisture content, because the problem that was leading to the coagulation was there was too much moisture in the oil, so it easily just changed that color. And we have students that develop a dipstick that actually check the temperature of the oil. So it's supposed to be very simple to say that, okay, I cook to this level. When I get to this temperature, it means it's good. The moisture content is fine. And my oil is going to stay red. I don't need to add that. And we move to Doma Himpro. Doma Himpro is the egg hub of Ghana. A lot of egg. During like Christmas, for instance, there'll be a lot of egg. They start selling their chicken. After Christmas, there's no egg because the chicken is no more. So they were just doing this post-harvest losses, this up and down. So we show them how to change the raw eggs into egg powder. I'm going to show you some pictures. This is a long, let's see if I can just get it fine. Great. So these are pictures of the communities that we visited. So this is Kede. We are working on the branding, but when we went there, they used to just put it on that gallon. You've seen that yellow gallon in its nature state, like very dirty. Nobody's going to buy it. But our friends from Nigeria will go and buy it from them at low price, and they go and package it and sell it at very... So they didn't even know about packaging and stuff like that. So we taught these rural women, about 60 of them, how to do packaging, how to reduce their moisture content, and we also allow them to come to our university to come and exhibit sometimes. So when we're organizing events like this, they come in there, they showcase their products, people buy, and they also meet investors like you who want to work with them. So I'll talk more about that, the investor that we have on board. And then so this is the egg powder. So this is also Doma. So we showed them how to process the egg. So in case people are not buying the eggs, or maybe the egg is going to go extinct, how can they change? This is not a new product, but in Ghana, it was surprising to know that some of the professors don't know anything like egg powder. And when you put them into this package, you just have to add water, and it comes back to its original state, and they fry. They came to UG, they demonstrated, we got some of the ministers coming on board, and they could appreciate the investment and the innovation. And this is not done by people that they have university degree in food, whatever. These are rural women. They cannot even read or write. But when we show them sort of technology transfer, explain to them innovation in the language that they understand, they're able to do this and came for the exhibition. And then we go to tomatoes. So tomatoes, if you go to Chiawadom, at the Bono Enclave, they are known to be highest production of tomatoes. They also have the same experience, post-harvest losses during the bumper season. Too many tomatoes, you can even get a box of tomato for 1,000 cedis. And at a time where it is also expensive, you can get the same box of tomato for about, I'm not exaggerating, but you can get like 10 times the actual price. So we also wanted to show them how they can change and process their tomatoes when it's too much in the system, because it's more like rain-fed, you're not able to control a lot of stories around there. But what we are telling them is that if you have too many tomatoes, you can change to tomato paste. And this, there is no preservative, there is nothing there. And this product, for instance, it has stayed for 2 years. We're currently at the FDA to check the expiration dates so that they could put it on to say that if you buy tomatoes from Tiobodom, organic, fresh, it can stay for 2 years without adding anything. This is coming from the rural women. I'm trying to let us appreciate that maybe let's look beyond the formal innovation thing. There are a lot of women there that they do amazing things, that they need money. And then this is tilapia. So the innovation we sent to the community was actually expensive, right? Because we introduced what we call dry ice. Those of us that we like going to the club, the thing that they put and there's vapor, like those things. Yeah, that is dry ice. And we showed them how to use the dry ice to preserve the fish, because their current preservation was using wet ice, the normal ice cubes. And they go on shore and they take like 2-3 days. By the time they come, it has melted, it has get into the gills, and it has started spoiling. So it reduces the quality of the fish. But the dry ice is a carbon capture, right? You just, it keeps its freshness like that. So we show them how to use the dry ice to preserve the fish before they come and sell, before they can process it to these things. So if you get a smoked fish from Dam Fresh Akosombo, the quality is intact because there's no dry ice. But it was expensive for them, because imagine you're asking me to buy 1 kg of dry ice, 100 Ghana cedis, and I can buy 50 pieces of their wet ice for 20 Ghana cedis. As a business person, I would definitely will have to use that. So that is one issue that we are facing with this particular innovation. And then this is palm oil juice. This at Cape Coast, if you go to Cape Coast, they are so much into palm oil, pineapple, yes. At Ankafu Enclave, they are into fruits. If you take a travel to Cape Coast, you see them. So most of the people there are fruit juicers. But the challenge that we were facing was the fact that the fruits start to ferment, because they're not adding any preservative, right? So we show them how to preserve the fruit juicing. And we introduced the innovation of pasteurization. Now, pasteurization is just a big technical term, but what it does is just adding a little bit of heat to your fruits so that when you squeeze everything, so that it can stay for long. So their intention is to get to the level as Don Simon, basically. But this is different from Don Simon because they don't add anything. It's just raw pineapple. And their pineapple is amazing. But they were struggling because they didn't do so. Usually they would just do 3 days, start fermenting but now they're able to move these products to Accra or send to Kumasi. So we're just expanding their markets. And the last one, that wasn't not quite an innovation, but this is yogurts. This was in Chakrade. Chakrade, they are mostly into fishing and all that. But when we went there, we did a needs assessment, asked them what they want so that we could intervene. But we realized that most of the youth were not having job. I mean, the people that we engaged. So we introduced to them dairy processing for them to do fresh yogurts there. So this was just it was a combination of single mothers, young and youth people around Takoradi for them to also venture into these businesses. So this is yogurts. Yogurts, the fresh yogurt that we have here, it wasn't in Takoradi, but what they were asking us to do is to also help them to change coconut, because coconut is quite something that they have it in abundance. So we are looking forward to go back to them and show them how they can process coconut in oil, coconut milk, or coconut juice, or whatever thing that you are doing. And the last is cereal. This is my favorite product because it tastes like Cerelac, but it's done in the northern region by women that they are into grains, sorghum, and all that. It's amazing taste. And it's called cereal. So this was a combination of university, industry, and the local people for them to do these products. Now, all these products are at the stage of FDA. We've exposed them to the processes. We are helping them to get certification. We've also exposed them to investors. Some investors are willing to invest 1 billion, especially in Kede, because they also buy things and send to UK. So they want to help them and all that, basically. I'm sharing all these things to you so that you can appreciate where innovation comes from and how we could move from nothing to something. Now, when what's your name? Sorry? Abigail. Abby was presenting and you asked about scaling big companies and all that. And this is an issue that I personally have with Africans. You know, when we went to rural community, we realized that they want to operate in silos because our culture to entrepreneurship is such that I put up my own thing, I sell, I'm okay. So the mentality of scaling is not there. But if you go to developed world, they all consolidate and bring their things together. KFC is not owned by one person. All the big ShopRite is not owned by one person. Melcom is not owned by one person. It's a pool of our resources together, regulated to say that you are investing into this. At the end of the day, we all get something, but it's a mentality. And I phrase the same thing at the rural place. So what we did was like, okay, if you really want us to invest, no investor will come and invest in anti-abunous venture that you only do just few things, unless you put yourself together. So we made them to form a cooperative association. So, and we look for market for them. So the model is simple. We are able to, and a cooperative, we made them to form because there was this issue of they don't know how to track their document. The banks, they go to the banks, they don't even know, they are not able to document their finances very well, but they produce anyway. So why don't we meet them halfway with the skills that they don't have? So when we formed the cooperative, we made sure that the executive are people that can read and write, do their documentation and blah, 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 so that the woman will just produce with the skill that they have. So when we get a contract for them that I need you to supply this amount of oil, we give to the cooperative executive. They now bring it down to the level to say that women, we have this amount of oil to supply within this week. How many can you bring? How many can you bring? And we have a standard because you show them when you bring the oil, if it doesn't fit, it goes back. So it's forcing them to make sure they do quality things, but they know that there's a market where they can come and sort of produce and give. And then those at the cooperative level now pick it up and pay them and all that and regulate for them. Because if you are rural irregularities, it's a key issue. That is why investors do not normally want to work with rural communities. And it's also understanding because that is how they know to understand. You know, in Cape Coast, for instance, when we introduced this cooperative, they were like, nobody wanted to share their secret because they feel like, oh, if I tell my secret, this one is going to steal it. So what you typically get is after the trail, they'll come to you, oh, Sylvia, so you know, I was saying this. I was like, why didn't you say it there? So it's just the mindset. So when we told them that we want them to come together to do a fruits like the pineapple juice that they can sell as a cooperative, still they were not happy about it because they're like, you're going to compete with mine and all that. But when we told them that it's not competition, right? So you have your own customer line. Nobody's coming to take your customers, but just have in the back of your mind that you are also a shareholder in this company that probably at the end of the year or something, give you 2% profit and add up to it. Besides, you can do your pineapple juice. It's just like cooking. You can have the same ingredients, but it will never taste the same. So you can go ahead and do your own thing, but make sure you also invest in this as well so that you could. So gradually they are picking it up, right? So we're able to bring on board Apex Bank to help them, give them some finances because now They understand the system and how to work around the rural people. So that is Riser Fund for you. So if you're interested in investing, or we could direct you to the place and all that. And we have, like I mentioned, Kede, for instance, we've sent about 2 investors there. They went there to meet the people, went to see their place of operation, get to know and all that, so that they are happy and comfortable to invest into that. The same thing to Serial. Now, Serial is at a private person, so that even give us a more sustainable kind of thing, because as a private person, his money, you're not allowed to go away. So apart from all the drama thing that happened, the private man is the one heading that. So we are sure that this is going to be produced for a while. And we've given them factories through the project. So we gave them 4 factories. So Jana has a factory. Beto Tomatoes has a factory. And the pineapple, we gave them juices that they are juicing. And then at Kede, we gave them a biodigester. The people that they were the moisture thing, because we realized that the raw, the waste from the processing, they call it POMI, palm oil, male affluent, something. It actually can produce biogas. But when we went there, they just dumping it. So you go to the place, it's an eyesore. They just throw in it, and somebody was buying it. But these people didn't know. So we told them that we're going to give you a biodigester so that you can collect your waste. You can use to generate gas and organic fertilizer. So there's organic fertilizer from that. So currently we are allowing them to get a liquid fertilizer that they're going to also sell, so they can also get an extra. But now it became another issue because they realized that the waste is actually gold and the person was coming for it for free. So so when we decided to do the biodigester for them, that person was like, no, trying to make sure that there's an issue. But thankfully, we're able to finally do it for them to also appreciate. Now, so these are 7 major lines with the rural people that I can assure you that if you want to invest, we can come together and see how the modality works, and you could actually help them scale. One thing I've learned from the rural people is they are very honest, because they need help and you've come to help. There's nothing shady, like, you know what I mean? There's nothing shady about it. They are open to change, they're open to learn. For them, they just need money to produce, and they're open to guidance, because you'll be typically be dealing with people that they've not been to school, but they have the skills and talent. So that is where we come in to help them shape and start scaling. One thing we've given them to is also, we've also talked to trolley markets. So all these products, we had to give them a market, a pipeline. So trolley markets sort of buy these and sell to Malcolm, ShopRite, and everything. So because these ShopRite and Malcolm, their processes before you get your product there is quite bureaucratic and it's extensive. So we're not ready to go through this. So we give to trolley market. Trolley market buy bulk from these people, and he repackages and put a brand and sell. At the end of the day, it's about getting money, and we get the money for them. So basically, now, so this is for the community. So we have about 100 agri-food startups now currently being incubated in our hub under UG in Carbon projects. And these are students that they are trying to change, address solution within the agri-food chain. So what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to innovation and place to invest, there are a lot of startups that we are incubating them, and genuinely they are going to grow and scale. But one thing investing in startup is that we need to be ready to grow with them. But every startup have their own stages. If you help them to grow with them, your share might be different from when you meet them halfway. So if you want to get businesses that are genuine businesses that are it has been incubated by how we could just go to that extent and show you all the portfolio. But just to say that the question that we're asking, investment, the mini SMEs and all that, sit with us. So thank you very much. I don't know, maybe if there are any questions or any more clarification, I'll be happy to take that.
Yes, I have.
Well, I could see from your slides you have BK International Department of International Development.
Hmm.
Now, that's very good work you're doing. I think just with what we had in the morning, you were in here. One of the things that was here, the presentation was about. Now, how sustainable is what you're doing if you're having support from the UK And so what you're doing isn't sustainable or regressive. You know, the UK come and say yes, so that are big. They had them go.
Yeah.
Collapse.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think when President Donald Trump pulled up the funding, Africans and development organizations like, oh, we have to wake up.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
didn't want to say.
Yeah, fantastic. So UK sponsored projects, they sponsored for phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 3, that's where we started thinking about the sustainability model. So one of the ways is in bringing in the private investors and creating a platform. It's called RING, Rural Innovation Network of Ghana. So this platform has investors there, innovators there, lecturers there to continue to support each other and all that. Because the fund is going to cut, right? But what we have done, we've given them innovation and skill. We've exposed them to the markets. We've exposed them to potential investors, private investors. So if a private person coming, like I said, with a serial, if you are investing in it, it's become your business somehow. So that's the only way you could help them regulate.
When I'm talking about the sustainability, your sustainability or your
Oh, for my organization. Oh, okay.
organization.
So
You know, they're going to the startups. There
yeah,
to be all these opportunities.
yeah.
The how sustainable
It's UGBS.
your organization.
Oh, thank you.
To do the work you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
When this funding is gone.
Sure. Thank you for thinking about us. Yes. Thank you for thinking about us. Yes. So, as a government organization, this thing we've discussed it a couple of times that we have to start charging within business that we come in. But because it's a government university, you cannot, because all these IP and innovation, government sponsored it. So the innovation actually does not even belong to the faculty. But that is a conversation that they are having, and they are making huge argument from it. Because how do you measure what is enough for me as a person? So okay, if I'm incubating somebody, can I steal the idea?
So the
So-
university could actually create a company.
Yeah.
Own that. They're a business.
The university has a company. I'm coming there. You have a UGL. The university has an enterprise, right? But what I'm trying to say is that we sit at the place where it's our duty to nurture the students. Student pay for it. So all the innovation that's come in, right? Unless you want to scale that, we want to start charging you. All this is for free. It's part of the university. And the university also sponsor us. And we ourselves too, we also creating businesses to also sponsor the hub. Yeah. So if you bring the discussion, VC was like, because here, when we decided to even increase the accommodation price, and the government said no, because it's tied to their political ambition. I don't want to be the government to say that when I came, you increased the accommodation thing. So it's difficult to even charge an extra 1 Ghana cedis at the university. But that is our sustainability mode. So that is the question that we have raised it for the big people to now decide, for them to understand this is what it's going to be. Like you said, if UK is not giving us, if Mastercard is not giving us, what is made up from the university? Currently, even though the university supports the businesses or the activity that we do at the hub, it is not enough for us to go and give to these people, because this money to establish processing units for them is not from the universities, from the UK government.
Is a university by law or whatever you establish, are you allowed to take some investment, this startup fundraise, in this incubator, so that when I, as an investor, come and I invest at that stage B, use someone was at that stage, the ability to take a say, okay, this we have developed a technology, we have made stuff. This is where you have come in and merged at this stage. We in this percentage, 5% or 2%, and that can sustain.
Yes. So, like I'm saying, all these great ideas, we've had this discussion. Right now, the university supports the student in terms of their nurturing and abilities. Now, they are saying that they will take 60% from the student. And so this is what the students are doing. They go to the lab, they'll use the reagent and everything, they'll make some of the steps. To the extent that when they are there, you cannot reproduce. So we're also trying to negotiate with the university in terms of this IP percentage and all that. But if we incubate a business, it is our duty as a hub to incubate them for free. Now, if they want to accelerate, That is where we are trying to make an argument that we can help you incubate and have your prototype. If you want to scale it where you can start making business, then we can come in with some commission and percentage at a point where the university will now, you can, we exit, yes, or you can buy us out. But this conversation is not easy to make because it is not a private innovation hub. It is a university innovation hub, and students are making argument. They pay fees, they did blah 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 and all that. Now the government is setting a research fund and all that, so it's going to help. So yeah, basically, as it stands now, we are relying on grant and also support from the university itself. Maybe if this conversation, if the VC accepts and they now take to the parliament, then they can start looking at that on how best investing hub can be sustainable. But for me, if the business that we are incubating, we show them the sustainability line, that is, let's say, it's God's work, let's say, for them. Yeah.
So currently the business is a partnership with the school or the student?
No, it's for the student. 100% owned by the student, yeah.
The part.
Yeah. So
And all intellectual property, what's the student?
So for this, if a partner comes in and maybe they have their own conditions and everything, so when they are exiting, they can say that keep the stuff. I will it to the university or to the community, or I want to take it back. So for these places that we've been to, the place, the machines and equipment are owned by the community. That is a corporate that we help them to set up. So it's more like a give out. The funders, when they're able to, honestly, one day I'll just ask the question: why do these developed organizations in the UK invest in us? Why do they give us money? But if you go to UK on the street, there are people that they are staying outside and all that. Because that is what we as Africans need to look. What is it that they're always giving us grant and money to develop our places, while they still have challenges there in the UK? Well, so let's find out why, so that we can meet them halfway. Because whatever they are giving us, if you can give ourselves, then they're out.
The one I said I was at
Africa Research Day in some in the UK. And they have this funding that African it managed to get funding for this and excellent research. That's excellent researches. Africans, diaspora, so have to give in Africa, you just have to come from Africa. So the other, it could be a Daniel, right? You are doing your research, you see something now. So because they're the intellectual property.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the end of the day, they do all this fun and their companies. So as I know, there was one big company, the NLS, a starter from the same followed by this Africa excellent.
Yeah.
And now the company is big and making quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the researcher
Yes, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is a major issue here. So that's why I want all of us to think about it. What is it that they are so much interested in Africans that they will give us all this money to develop, while they also have challenges that they've not addressed yet? That is one question. And as a researcher, there are certain times when you get, not all funds, but some funds will come with terms and conditions. You can do this, you cannot do this, you can do this, you cannot do this. So we don't have the money, so you cannot determine your... So there are even some research that's, like he said, there are something behind that, there's nothing you can do. So the point is, if we don't come together and make our own money and find a way to invest in our own self, we're not going to be, we're still being colonized, whether I like it or not. So I'm very happy we are all here. And when AJ called me, today we are wrapping up, I'm like, I have to come because this is something that I personally, it's a personal, something that I love to do. So my research is in scaling local innovation, because I realize that the formal innovation that they are doing, the criteria that they bring, these local innovators do not fit in. They don't even see the support. They cannot even read and write. If you're talking about inclusive innovation, how are you including them? Africa is more like informal economy. We are 80%, 20%. So if you really want to make a change, why targeting the 20%, not the 80%? And their issue was like, oh, I don't understand them, And it's also quite understandable because as a funder, when they give 1 city, they need to know where the 1 city is going up. So it was like information gap. That is where I'm trying to have a framework that if you want to work with local innovators, this is the way. They are not going to do your KPI. They don't care about those things. They're not going to do this, but these are their measure, and they are using it because they don't understand our economy. And trust me, when I wanted to do this research, I'm struggling to get supervisors. Here, it's fine. But out there, their current research fund and support is not to your line because they also have their own objectives that they want to do. So if you want to do a research that is for Africans by African, that is going to help us realize, they'll tell you the stories. So this is the reality. Unless, because if I'm doing my own fund, I could do anything I want to do and I could pick it up. But now I have to get some support. So that is the challenge, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was a question actually. So the feedback, how much of a research is actually targeted to challenges that you'll see in what weeks? Just to give an example, we talked about tomato base, and that was a solution to providing some value addition when there's excess tomatoes. But that's because it's not. It's because they do ring-fed agriculture. Surely the challenge, for example, is eventually irrigated that.
Yeah.
And what is happening in terms of that feedback that you're getting at that level and the research that you make back it.
So, this agricultural irrigation rainfed thing, it's a long discussion. The problem with Ghana is like, it's not like we don't know the solution to our problems. We are fully aware. A lot of these ministers, researchers and everything, I school in the UK. We know our problem. We know our solution. And solution is being done here. But ask us, why are you not doing that? Why are we not actually executing the solution that we produce? Irrigation is not new. We know that Africa or Ghana, we are heavily on agriculture and rainfed. But this long discussion of solar, rain capture and everything, it's the research is there, the solution is there. But as a researcher at a university, they're not able to provide this. So if you go to, when I was school in Manchester, what my professor was doing is that the government will come or the industry will come with a problem, the university will now solve it, and they go and then they uptake it and they solve their solution. It doesn't work like that.
So isn't that a real challenge for actuacy? Because it's fine to put together cooperative and small SMBs, individual entrepreneurs that are making tomato paste, making pot. But if you're not actually bringing in the innovation, the technology to stay true, then how does this?
Yeah. So this research commercialization scaling, like I'm saying, it's an issue that imagine if the government should pick it up or challenge a technical university that I need you to come up with an irrigation system and that I want you to pilot with this community. But as a researcher, we can only research and show the solution. We don't have the money. So in our own small way, we now have to look for grants like we are doing and try to solve it because this innovations, palm oil and all that, it is not a new innovation. It has been there on the shelf for God knows how long. It just, we have to put together something like this and now to bring in pilot. So the solution to scaling doesn't lie with the researchers. It lies with the industry and the government level. There is this man called Kantanka. I don't know if you've heard of him. He just died recently. And Kantanka has shown innovation from material to shoes to automobile. Have you asked yourself why he's not like Elon Musk? Why he's not like Silicon Valley? And I worked there for a while. Every year he organizes Expo, where he bring on board all these local innovators. I think 2 years ago, he brought on board these local innovators that they cannot read and write, but they're able to fabricate something to solve their communities. So he made us to go to the various communities, the hinterlands, to see what people are doing, and it was amazing. We got innovation from bomb. Somebody can do bomb, and the person stays at some hinterland, and the person brought it to demonstrate. The only thing is the person did not have the right material. So this person has the ingenuity, the creativity. He has not gone to any formal school. So Kantanka supported them for them to have confidence in their ideas so that they will not feel like they are crazy. For them to come and demonstrate. We brought on board from the security, military people, from all the government, all the president, except President Mahama has never come to this before. Akufo-Addo has been there, Kufuor has been there. I don't want to mention names because I sit there, I organize, we invite them. They've all come, they've all sat, but you've not been able to scale. So it is not that the innovations are not there. It is not that we are not ready to scale. Of course, if you're not ready to scale like the raw people, it's all about mindsets. When we made them to come together, they form a cooperative. But the government needs to support. Mami mentioned in China. China, when automobile came, what they did was like, oh, Volkswagen, whatever can come in. But when you come, you have to partner with 2 Chinese automobile industry. For 50 years, they learn all the skills. Now, when they realize that their skill was sharpened to the point where they can do exactly the same, you know, they say Chinese, they kick you out. They didn't kick you out because when they kick you out, an international organization will come and they did it nicely. If you import vehicle from China, that we have it here, you pay 200%. So people didn't import. And gradually they started buying from the people. By the time you realize, Volkswagen, BM, they all left the country. That's how they adopted it. We are not doing that. And I don't want to go into China innovation because, like I said, I am looking at scaling our local. So I've studied China, I've studied Singapore, Japan. They came out with strategy that protects them, but trying to play the card such a way that the international organization will not come to them, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you look at the US war in China, you know what the Prime Minister said, like, US is not the only market. If like we will stop supplying, we can still exist. That is power. In the whole China population, if they say that we are producing everything and we are closing all export, they can still survive because they have everything that they have.
See, but that's the problem. Because being the World Cup, sign to the big TO, World Trade Organization, and where mafias are dumping.
Yeah. So then
So they using China, Singapore, they did it. We can do it. That government can do that.
Yeah. So this conversation that's what I want us to know. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that, but hope is not lost, right? Now, I love that diasporans are coming in. And I'm happy 2 years ago was like, return, only party. But now you want to come in and invest. How do we consolidate again? We can do something like KFC, Melcom, right? Put the resources together so that it wouldn't be only me investing in this, but it's not going to work. It doesn't scale like that. And then we have a proper structure system that very transparent. Everybody knows that when I put one CD in this shop, I'm good to go, and let's support these people, because that's what we're doing at the rural people, to consolidate them. So when there is a supply or something, I can just pick it up to the bank to say that we have this supply from this person, give us the money to upfront it. This women produce and then we meet it. But that is a very small level. Maybe as time goes on, we can pick up and grow, but that is a reality. That is a reality, sadly, but that is our reality.
So I know we talk about the WTO signing up. I don't think that actually stops us from protecting our own. We just be big, smarter. And that is what's lacking. I think leadership needs to look at, because other countries have done it. They are part of the WTO, but they find ways and means. It's a bit like she's just put across. China found a way to kick the other automobiles out of there when they were in a good place. JK showed by saying, no, you can't bring the cars in here. They did it through other means, so all of life is about civilization. Life is about thinking about things in a different way to protect yourself and home. And we, people of African heritage, don't do that as well. Part of it is probably from our culture of giving or belonging or communal like side, where we never really thought. I know part of us, we think we are just me, but traditionally, we were never a community that looked at just me do their things, and capitalism is quite mean to us. It's always the coming out. So like fighting that visitor in that you don't know where they even come from, with your whole open arms, open hearts, and you don't think beyond that. Oh, are they coming to maybe find a way to put me on the back foot? No, he don't think about that. So I think we should still be able to do things and to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
So when you were talking, you said something about you get all these foreign funding, and that when it comes to just local needs run by local people, you don't get as much. And you get foreign funding, foreign grants for research, and some of them come with terms and conditions. But there is some of them you don't really understand what they are getting from it when they have their own people who are elite. They get a lot from it because that is the power. That is real power. Because by funding what you're doing, they know exactly what you're doing, what your findings are, where your opportunities are, where you might want to go next. And that is real power. That is why they're doing what they're doing. So we shouldn't ever think that anything is for charity. It's not for charity. It's not because they want to out of the goodness of their hearts. It's just logical. Like I said, as 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 people, we need to change the way we think. This idea of charity doesn't really exist, apart from in Africa where you open your doors and let people in and we all enjoy food together. Maybe it could be the last harvest surplus you got left, but you will still cook it because you have guests and it's important to you. That is our tradition. So it isn't what a lot of the world is like. So we need to think big why they do things, because knowledge is power. And once I know you as a society, this is where you're going, I can find ways to outsmart you and even make more profit than you were thinking you would make if we did all that. So that is why I think.
Yeah. I think now this was a rhetorical question for us to think about it. Like Chi rightly said, that is the theme. Okay, apart from the fact that they make you feel like, oh, you are vulnerable, they are the ones helping you mentally. Secondly, all the research and everything, it's information. Africans don't know what to use information for. So basically, that's why it comes down to the point where I said I was happy that we are coming together like this. Okay, because if you find a research, of course, everything comes to you and you know the information. This is a personal research. So I have a research company. It's called Synchronous Global. 2 years ago, during the COVID-19, a company in US reached out. I don't want to mention it because clients have privileges. I started researching with them. It was getting to the latter part that I got to know that company and why they were gathering that information. And they were just assessing the automobile side. And they came with a whole profile of Kantanka.
Okay.
I don't want to tell much details, but that is what they do because they are paying us for research. So I wasn't surprised when that they came in to come and set a whole planting thing and all that, and the government gave. That is another conversation on the other day. So that is it. Information is power, but Africans we don't care about information. We just like do and all that. But that is our problem. So let's get in that there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the shift in was the reduction in the NGO funding, there is now an uptake called collaboration between Africa and Europe or America, and there are research sites now that we can upload research, but also download research that's on Europe.
Yeah.
And it's actually interesting that you mentioned that you've been asked to research by American companies in a focus. So you might be aware of it. Now, not having information about sub-Saharan Africa makes it difficult for the bigger companies, which also the ones that have big kid from day one, but bigger companies to come because they have a particular way of working. Yeah. And where they don't have that information, they're not going to come in live. So now the new gold, so to speak, is actually data.
Yeah.
And so the NGOs aren't providing the data that they need. So what they're doing now, there's people like MasterCard, American Express card, even the organization that is linked to the German government,
GIZ.
GID. So now they're involved in supporting and innovating and developing and providing tech skills so that it could all get online and then it will be easy for us to work with. And I don't know how that's been implemented unless we are aware of this and we make it.
Yeah, that is great. So and now I'm just thinking, should our investment goes into data? Because everything starts from data.
It should go into data. However, I was actually very privileged to meet an amazing young guy who had come up with the platform X, the similar platform to X was on a Pan-African X, let's say. And he just worked, but he's associated with a particular art in a craft. And they had a an event there, and who was there by a professor from University of Ghana, along with someone from, I forget company name, but they are synonymous with Web3 based activity. But they were there. The young lady was there from Canada with professor and explaining what their research was and asking them to help them with their research.
Yeah.
And again, they come to claves. This place is it's a hub for young Ghanaians who were interested, who were free, signing, coding, etc., and they come to do research. Where's that research going? It's going straight to the States, but it's being supported by a professor from the University of Ghana. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't do this research. I'm just saying we should be aware of it and make it benefit us. Don't give for gold, sell for gold.
Yeah, so I just asked the question that we are all investors, potential investors. So I just wanted to also look around, like not only businesses, but also the research team as well. Recently, UNDP, they started scouting for atypical innovators. The atypical innovators are the rural innovators. And it was simple. You just have to identify 200 in the community. What are they going to use that data for? Because now they've started getting into the rural and the indigenous innovators, because they, I mean, if you visit to a community, I have traveled across the community to get to see what they're doing. They have nothing like what we have in Accra, but they're able to do something, no training, nothing. So such a person, imagine if he gets a proper guide and we sort of consolidate their innovation, probably not to let them innovate bombs, but if somebody can do bombs, it means that person, his IQ or something, just present the person with a problem and the person can provide for you. That's what China does, Japan does, and anything, because all the innovations come from them. South Korea, there are a lot of innovation in South Korea that is not even in the global market, but they are using it. So instead of us trying to solve other problems, why don't we solve our local problem and scale it up? What we are doing is, even with the innovations coming in AI, they are all good. But are we really at the point where we can afford luxury innovation? But when they come into support, they are supporting to get information at their level that they want as well. It's just a little research support or organization that we really want to get into the indigenous area to understand them. Apart from that,
Recently at a Center for Plant Research Innovation,
KPR,
there was a conversation about how people with local knowledge about the value of plants are not necessarily sharing it accurately. And there was a discussion about how that can happen. And I just bought it was something that was local, but I can't really see all of Africa. There are plants that are indigenous to different countries with certain medicinal values, but people are not certain about how to, whether it's the root, the stem, the leaf, and how to prepare it. And so research has gone into that.
Yeah.
I think the idea now is try and get those who are keepers of that knowledge to share that knowledge with them. There's no kind of
structure,
organization for them, let's say, but they just want them to share the knowledge.
Yeah.
But they send people to go and
So see what you was talking about, protection, right? Because that's one thing too. When I start talking about these things, I get a bit sad and personal. And what you get, people who are maybe knowledgeable, they go there and, like you're saying, they get the knowledge and that is all. So it is our duty, in as much as
supporting
research. Yes.
You'll get the
Knowledge.
but they are up there.
Yeah.
It's not because they are coming to support us.
Yeah.
They want the knowledge.
Yeah.
And we need to wrap this up now because food is ready. I don't want it to go cold. But I was on another discussion and they talked about property rights. It's really scary when people come from other places to Africa and are able to take plants from Africa and go and actually get the coffee rights to these. And this is where what you're saying, Katsi, because we need to put money into her herbal. I believe that it's a big market. And government really needs to find ways of working across Africa, how to develop the research into herbal medicine and how to protect, essentially, because if we make this available, it's not just us who will have it, it's everybody. How to protect and actually have the rights to these things. We don't think about these things, getting the rights to plants for this use or that use. But that's what somebody came, literally went to the village, got them to share what they do, and that was it.
There's a whole institution. There's a whole institution in Ghana that deals with that. Research on innovation. They done a lot of research, and I'm sure she's on shelves. Yeah. One of my professors in pharmacy was one of the head of that class. Hey. But for you ain't, sir. I'm sure that's where I'm nothing from India.
Okay, all too soon.